Listen to me. I need you to wake up. I need you to lean in, because what I'm about to say can shift your entire destiny. You've been carrying chains for too long, chains of fear, chains of addiction, chains of doubt, chains of poverty, of pain, of trauma. But today, right now, that ends. There is a psalm, and when you understand its power, not just recite it, not just read it, Levi, you will begin to break every curse, every stronghold, every invisible wall that's been holding you back. I'm talking about Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Do you know what that means? That means you're not out here fighting alone. That means you are covered. That means you are protected. That means you are unstoppable when you step into the presence of God with belief, with fire, with action. See, the problem is most people speak like they're free, but walk like they're still in chains. You say you're strong, but you still sleep next to fear. You post about purpose, but you're still living in your past. But Psalm 91, that's not just poetry, that's warfare, that's spiritual firepower. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You hear me, the curses may try to reach you. The generational patterns may try to touch you. The failures of your past may try to whisper, you're not enough. But guess what? They fall, they crash, they fail because you're under the Most High's covering. This psalm doesn't ask you to fight on your own. It tells you who's fighting for you. It tells you the truth about your identity. You are not cursed. You are not stuck. You are chosen. You are free. But it's on you to dwell, to remain in that secret place. Stop treating the word like a quote and start treating it like a weapon. So here's what I need from you. Don't just recite Psalm 91, become it. Walk like someone who's been delivered. Speak like someone who's already free. Praise like someone who knows the chains are already broken. This is your moment. The curse breaks when you break agreement with it. The chains fall when you stand up and say, no more. I live in the shadow of the Almighty. I am not cursed, I am called. Walk in Psalm 91. Speak it, declare it, and watch how instantly the atmosphere around you begins to change. Because the enemy can't hold what God has already freed, you've been reading it like a poem. You've been treating it like something sweet to say before bed, like a comfort blanket you reach for when fear creeps in at night. But let me tell you something that will change your life. Psalm 91 is not just poetic scripture. It's not just verses to soothe your soul. It's a weapon. It's a battlefield strategy. It's a declaration of war against everything that's ever tried to hold you back, break you down, or bury your purpose. When you understand that, something shifts. You stop reciting it and start wielding it. You stop whispering it and start declaring it. You stop using it for comfort only and start using it for combat. Psalm 91 was never meant to be passive. It was meant to be powerful, and power isn't quiet. Power shows up. Power speaks boldly. Power pushes back darkness. Power doesn't ask permission, it takes ground. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's not just beautiful language. That's the entrance to your safe zone. That's the line in the sand. That's God saying, come under my cover and watch what I do. That's the Most High inviting you into his presence where no enemy can penetrate. And when you dwell, not visit, not check in once a week, not treat like an emergency shelter when you dwell, you live in that protection. You stay rooted in that power. You move through life covered by the shadow of the Almighty. A shadow doesn't follow something far away. A shadow is close. A shadow is constant when the source of light and the object remain connected. That means if you're under the shadow of the Almighty, you're close to him, you're near, you're in alignment, and when you stay in that alignment, no curse can reach you, no chain can hold you. You are too covered, too protected, too surrounded by divine authority. We've been misusing this psalm like it's a lullaby. We teach our kids to memorize it. We hang it in our homes like decor. But the truth is, Psalm 91 is not just something to memorize. It's something to internalize, activate, and walk in. When you speak it with belief, when you declare it with conviction, you're not just reading a scripture, you're picking up a sword. You're putting on armor. You're setting up a perimeter that the enemy cannot cross. Do you realize what you're holding when you speak these words? 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. That's not symbolic talk. That's straight power. That's a spiritual promise. That's divine immunity from destruction. That's heaven saying you're covered on all sides. And yet so many walk through life afraid, afraid of failure, afraid of enemies, afraid of sickness, of rejection, of what the future holds. But when you understand the real nature of Psalm 91, fear no longer gets a vote. You start moving through life knowing you're not alone. You start waking up in the morning not just hoping for protection, but expecting it. Because Psalm 91 is your declaration that heaven is backing you up. It's your contract that says danger may approach, but it cannot devour. Trouble may form, but it cannot finish you. Let me break something down for you. When the enemy attacks, he doesn't go after people who are playing games. He goes after the ones with potential. He targets those who have destiny written on their lives. If you've been facing spiritual warfare, it's not because you're weak, it's because you're dangerous. It's because you're walking towards something that scares the darkness. But the mistake people make is they try to fight back using human logic, human plans, human energy. That won't cut it in a spiritual fight. You need a spiritual weapon. You need to say, "He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." You need to claim it out loud, not because God forgot, but because you need to remember. Every time you speak Psalm 91 with faith, you're reinforcing your position. You're putting up spiritual walls. You're surrounding yourself with truth. The world may call you delusional. The devil may try to distract you. But Psalm 91 keeps your eyes on the truth that never changes. You are guarded by the Most High. You are held in the palm of his hand. You are hidden from destruction, and no weapon formed against you, not one will prosper. When you're dealing with generational curses, Psalm 91 is your antidote. When you're battling inner demons and thoughts that try to convince you you're not enough, it's your answer. When chains of addiction, depression, or self-doubt try to lock you up, it's your breakthrough. And it works when you work it. It activates when you believe it, live it, and speak it like you mean it. Don't underestimate the power of what's been given to you. You weren't handed Psalm 91 so you could feel warm and fuzzy. You were handed it so you could fight back, so you could stand your ground when everything around you starts to shake, so you could declare, even in the middle of the storm, that you will not be moved, that even if the world around you collapses, the promise of God still stands strong, that even if people walk away, the shadow of the Almighty never does. This isn't a chapter in a book, it's a declaration of who you are under God's covering. You're not fragile, you're not cursed, you're not forgotten, you're not just someone trying to survive, you are called to thrive under divine protection. You have a mission, a purpose, and an identity that cannot be erased by darkness. You have power in your mouth, power in your posture, and power in your positioning when you stand on the truth of Psalm 91. So no, don't treat it like a poem. Don't treat it like a bedtime story. Treat it like a battle cry. Treat it like your spiritual alarm system. Treat it like the weapon it was designed to be, because when life tries to knock you out, when the pressure builds, when curses try to whisper your name, you won't flinch. You won't fold. You'll stand up, declare the word, and remind every enemy, visible or invisible, that you don't fight alone. You fight under the covering of the Almighty, and in that place, in that shadow, curses are shattered, chains are broken, and freedom comes instantly. You've been taught to believe that curses are something external, something floating in the atmosphere, passed down through bloodlines, passed around by enemies, inflicted by your circumstances. But I need you to hear this loud and clear. Most curses don't live outside of you. They live in your agreement with the lies that were spoken over your life. Let that sink in. You've got power, real power. But that power activates the moment you stop agreeing with what was meant to destroy you. The curse isn't what they said. The curse isn't what happened to you. The curse is when you started to believe it was true. The curse was never the pain. The curse was you accepting the pain as your identity. It was when you heard you're not enough, and you nodded your head. It was when life hit you hard, and you said, maybe I deserve this. That's the agreement. That's the moment the chain locked. But the good news, chains don't break by accident. They break by decision. They break the moment you say, I'm not who they said I was. I'm not my mistakes. I'm not my past. I'm not the generational patterns. I'm not the one who stays stuck. That's when curses lose their grip, the moment you stop signing what was never meant for you in the first place. See, nobody talks about the power of internal agreement. You think you're a victim of what's been passed down, but the truth is you've been given dominion. You've been given the ability to say yes or no. And the moment you change that yes into a no, the moment you reject what doesn't line up with your calling, things start to shift. Not in 10 years. Not after therapy. Not after everybody finally believes in you. Instantly. Because spiritual authority doesn't wait on popular opinion. It moves when you move. You've been agreeing with fear for too long. It whispers, don't try, you'll fail. And you nod, you shrink, you play small. But let me ask you, who gave fear the authority to lead your life? Who told fear it had the final word? You did. Every time you believed it. Every time you obeyed it. But the moment you stop agreeing with fear, it loses control. You stand up, you speak different, you move different. And that's when the chain starts to crack. Some of you are living under generational pain. Maybe your parents struggled, maybe their parents did too, and you think it's your fate. But just because it ran in your family doesn't mean it has to run through you. You don't break generational curses by complaining about them. You break them by changing the contract, by tearing up the lie and signing on to truth. And that starts with what you believe about yourself and your identity. You've been walking around like a prisoner, holding the keys in your hand the whole time. There's a reason darkness wants your agreement, because it can't build a stronghold in your life without your permission. It needs your words, it needs your submission, it needs your silence. But when you start opening your mouth and declaring who you really are, when you start living in the truth that you are free, chosen, redeemed, curses start to tremble. Chains start to weaken. And every lie starts to dissolve in the presence of a made-up mind. You are not stuck. You are not doomed. You are not beyond repair. That's just the old agreement talking. That's just the echo of a lie you've heard too many times. But today you tear up the old script. Today you write a new one. Today you say, I will not carry this curse any longer. I will not walk under this cloud. I am done living like a prisoner. I change my agreement. Don't wait for other people to confirm your breakthrough. Some of them are still living under their own curses. You've got to decide for yourself. You've got to speak freedom even when your surroundings don't match yet, because that's what faith looks like. That's what breaking the curse looks like, walking like it's already broken, because in the spirit it already is. Maybe you've spoken some things over your own life that created cycles. You've said, I'll never get out of this. You've said, people like me don't succeed. You've said, this is just who I am. But the truth is, that wasn't your voice. That was the echo of pain. That was the voice of trauma. That was the whisper of every battle you've fought. And today, you get to speak something new. You get to override the curse with the blessing. You get to say, no more, I don't agree with that anymore. I choose life. I choose growth. I choose healing. I choose destiny. And understand this, you can't break the curse by staying passive. You've got to get aggressive about your freedom. You've got to open your mouth. You've got to get your spirit in alignment. You've got to say, I come out of agreement with fear. I come out of agreement with failure. I come out of agreement with limitation. I come out of agreement with addiction, depression, confusion. I don't belong to those things. I belong to purpose. I belong to victory. There's a shift that happens the moment you realize you have a choice. The curse isn't final, it's conditional, and the condition is your agreement. The chain isn't unbreakable, it's just familiar. But you weren't called to stay bound. You were created to rise, to move, to expand, to walk in full authority, but that means confronting every silent yes you've given to the enemy and replacing it with a loud no. It means refusing to let your past define your future. It means refusing to repeat what didn't serve the generations before you. It means standing in the mirror and saying it stops here. Not just once, every day, with your words, with your actions, with your mindset. Because that's how curses are broken, not with magic, not with luck, but with truth. Spoken, lived, embodied, and the moment you step into that truth, the curse has no place to land. The moment you stand in who you were created to be, the chain falls off like it was never there. Don't wait for somebody to rescue you. Rescue your own future by changing what you agree with. Don't wait for a sign in the sky. The sign is in your spirit, the fire in your chest. That's the reminder that you were made for more. That you were built to overcome, that you've got the authority to declare, no more chains, no more lies, no more cycles. I change my agreement, and because I change my agreement, I change my life. And when you do that, the curse has no choice but to break. Everybody wants results. Everybody wants the breakthrough, the healing, the elevation, the peace, the blessing. But not everybody is willing to activate what it takes to see it. Because real, lasting, supernatural results don't show up just because you wish for them. They show up the moment your faith stops being a theory and becomes a move. Results don't respond to delay, they respond to faith in motion. You can't keep saying you want it while standing still. You can't keep saying you believe while refusing to step. Faith without action is like a car without an engine. It looks good, it sounds good, but it's not going anywhere, and there are too many people dressed for movement who refuse to move. Too many people quoting scriptures who won't live them. Too many people praying for a breakthrough while staying in the same mindset that's blocking it. What if the only thing standing between you and the result you've been crying out for is the fact that you haven't moved yet? What if the door's been open, but you're still sitting on the couch waiting for a confirmation? You say you're waiting on God, but maybe, just maybe, God is waiting on you. Because faith that changes things is not passive. It doesn't sit around waiting for the stars to align. It acts, it moves, it risks, it leaps. That's the kind of faith that produces instant results. Not because life is easy, not because the journey is short, but because the moment you move in faith, something breaks in the spiritual realm, something shifts, something unlocks, and sometimes the instant result isn't the thing you were asking for, it's the chain falling off your mind. It's the fear breaking, it's the hesitation evaporating. That's the real instant result. Transformation in your posture, transformation in your decision making, transformation in how you see yourself. But that doesn't happen without instant movement. You don't get fire without a spark. You don't get a harvest without planting something. You don't get a miracle while holding on to excuses. You have to move even when you don't feel ready. You have to speak even when you don't see anything changing. You have to act like it's done even when it's not visible yet. That's where real power lies, in the decision to obey before the answer shows up. In the courage to move while your knees are shaking. In the conviction to stand on the word even when the world around you says it's impossible. That's how walls fall. That's how chains break. That's how curses lift. Not by waiting, but by moving in full trust. Some of you are waiting for conditions to be perfect. You're waiting for people to support you. You're waiting for the money to show up, the opportunity to come knocking, the right feeling to hit you. But what if the condition you're waiting for is already inside you? What if the green light is not something you see, it's something you decide? Because results don't come to the person who sits. They come to the one who moves in alignment with belief. And the belief has to be now, not someday, not after I feel more confident. It's now. It's in the moment you say, I trust what I cannot see more than I fear what I can see. That's when power activates. That's when doors start opening that no man can shut. This isn't about hype, it's about truth. Some people say they're believing, but what they're really doing is hesitating. They're waiting for a guarantee. They want a safety net before they jump. But faith doesn't come with a backup plan. Faith is the plan, and until you jump, you'll never know what you were built to survive. Until you leap, you'll never know how strong your wings are. You've been praying for deliverance, for answers, for direction. But have you moved on what you already heard? Have you acted on the last thing God told you to do? Or are you still waiting for a new word while ignoring the one you've already been given? Sometimes the delay in your life is not from the outside, it's from the inside. It's from delayed obedience. It's from postponed belief. It's from fear that dresses itself up as wisdom. But real wisdom is obedience. Real faith is action. Real trust doesn't ask for all the details. It just moves. You can't break cycles by sitting in the same position. You can't see healing if you won't speak it. You can't receive the blessing while still clinging to the burden. You've got to move. You've got to make the first move in faith and let God meet you on the path. Instant results are real, not because everything gets solved overnight, but because you change instantly when you finally believe fully. You shift into a new identity. You tap into divine strength. You start operating like the version of you that's already free, already walking in purpose, already moving in power, and that shift creates a ripple. It makes the atmosphere change. It makes people around you pay attention. It makes heaven respond. You want instant, then give God instant. Give him instant trust, instant obedience, instant surrender. Stop giving him partial faith and asking for full miracles. Stop moving slow and asking for a fast turnaround. Give the same urgency to your faith that you give to your fear. Give the same energy to your purpose that you've been giving to your pain. It's not that you're not worthy of breakthrough, it's that breakthrough is activated through decision, and if you want to see it instantly, you've got to believe and act instantly. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for your emotions to agree. Move now. Speak now. Believe now. Walk now, because when you do, something happens, something changes. You'll feel it before you see it. You'll know it before it's visible. You'll move with a boldness that confuses the people who used to know you as fearful. You'll speak with an authority that shakes rooms. You'll walk through doors that were closed for generations because you moved in instant faith. The only thing standing between you and the life God already designed for you is the hesitation you've been calling caution. But today is the day that stops. Today is the day you switch gears. Today is the day you move. Not because it's easy, not because you have all the answers, but because you believe, and that belief will get you further than fear ever could. So don't delay, don't wait for a better moment, don't ask for another sign. This is the sign. The result is waiting on the other side of your obedience. The outcome is already in motion the moment you stop hesitating and start moving. Instant results require instant faith and action, and that means now.